Welcome to Back on the Broomstick,
A modern witch's spoken word grimoire.
where two witchy friends from way back are reconnecting to their pagan roots after a long period of mundanity.
We're rewalking the path of the wise and trying out all the latest spells, rituals, and magical theory in today's witchcraft and pagan practices.
So grab your wand and your incense
Your cauldron and your crystals
and join us
as we get
back on the broomstick.
Hi, and welcome to Back on the Broomstick. I'm Layla, and on this episode, we're talking about living your best witchy life with magic you can do every day. No waiting for the perfect phase of the moon, the next holiday on the wheel, or saving your witchiness for October. Be your witch self now, at least for a few minutes a day. And spring is the perfect season to become the magical creature you want to be. This is the time of year when nothing asks permission to grow. You just start. Messy, eager, chaotic, the perfect energy for growth and change and new beginnings.
And I'm Chelle, and I am riding that spring chaotic wave, and I think that's what we need to kind of embrace. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about today is embracing that chaotic change. And the only way I can equate it right in the moment, my little in the moment anecdote is I happened to wake up on a mountainside in northern Pennsylvania today. And I went outside and like this wind, it was, how they talk about the winds of change?
Absolutely.
This was definitely like that wind of change. Like you can tell that it's bringing in a new season and it's bringing in a new time, a new phase. But it was also enough to blow your ass over and like blow things down the road. And like it felt good and magical and purposeful,
And messy and chaotic.
harsh and cold and everything blowing every which way. But you could tell it was like one of those tide turning winds.
That's what spring is all about. And magic is a lot like that. And change is almost always like that. We're talking about living purposefully witchy, living a purposeful life that has magic and witchcraft in it. That's just part of our regular day. And I almost wanted to call this episode Witch Maxing because it's all about maximizing the witchiness in your life and
I don't even know what that means.
I don't really either. Okay, it's one of those dumb terms. It's all over the internet right now. Everything is maxing, taking everything to the next level. But as soon as I thought that in my head, I kind of hated myself for it. So we're definitely not going to go there.
Like when we used to say totally to the max.
Yes, exactly. It's taking a small bit of time and fitting every bit of witchiness into it.
Okay, I gotcha.
We want to share with you some ideas to take this season between the spokes from now until Beltane and try to formulate a witchcraft habit. We want to take a little bit of time to be our most witchy selves to the max. Maybe set aside like 5 minutes a day. Maybe take that time if you already do a tarot pull every day or do a meditation. Layer more things into that.
Add something to it.
Yeah, add more things to it. Literally
Right.
take it to the max. Add like 5 things to it. Put on witchy music. Put on your favorite incense. Light a candle. Wear your favorite clothes that make you feel like the goddess or god you are.
Now, I know you say, 5 minutes, and I get the whole 5 minute thing, but I kind of look at this as like a 15-minute thing. Taking 15 minutes because, I do like to cram a lot of stuff in one big thing. And that 15 minutes, have that be your you time, your time to connect. And we've all got 15 minutes. We can all find 15 minutes. And these are meant to be quick ideas that we want to give that can be 15-minute or less, or be combined into do 5 of them in 15 minutes or less.
Exactly.
But these are supposed to be realistic things I can actually motivate to do every day. Because, who's doing high magic every day? Like
Exactly.
who? Like who? Because we're not.
And it's not going to be Ostara every day, but it is going to be spring where you are for a while. experience that, be in that moment? How can we live every day more magically? So we want to talk about layering magical things, layering practices on top of something you already do. So say you are a wake and bake person. Make that an intentional moment. Add things to that. And we've talked before about if you do something for like 27 days or something, 30 days, what is it?
It becomes a natural habit.
And although that's not exactly true, it's more true than not. And if you want to reclaim more of yourself, reclaim your witchcraft side, be a more magical person, start small. Start simply with something that you already do, and then layer more on top of it. Make it maximalist, but start with that thing you already do to anchor the practice.
So I think we've got some good ideas that we're going to throw out here. But I think above all of these ideas, it really is important to just take that moment. And how often you do it, it can depend on how long it takes you to do it. But just take that moment to just kind of like ground yourself, kind of become one with whatever. Give yourself that deep breath to kind of become grounded, become one, become in a centered, calm place.
Make it a moment, make it an intentional moment, and let it feel dramatic. Let it feel witchy. Let it feel like you're stepping into that grounded, centered, full on witch version that you've always wanted to be. Be that person for these 15 minutes. Let that full sensory experience be on you. Now tell me, Chelle, I know there have been times I've seen you out in my woods, gathering things with your little basket, prancing around in the mud, happy as a little freaking witch in a pagan shop, loving every second of it.
Honestly, what I was just talking about from this morning, that moment standing outside in that wind of change, like it just felt like a flood of new magical energy flowing through. Those are the moments I think that people almost don't pay attention to because they're not theatrical and dramatic.
Mhm.
Those are going to be those magical moments. I was watching a baby horse prance around a field with its mother. Those are the magical moments, especially for this time of year, that new life, that burst of creative newness that is all over everything right now.
And that's really what this idea of a small 5 minute, 15-minute intentional witchcraft practice is about is making every moment magical, paying attention to those moments. If you take this time every day, just for a month, just do it from now till Beltane, and do something every day that makes you feel very witchy and very much in that magical self, you'll notice that you'll start to feel that in other places. Like you said, Chelle, when you felt that wind of change, when you saw that new life, you could feel that energy, the energy of the place that you're in, the energy of life,
Yes.
of the season. And we've had listeners write in about different places in the United States where they are right now and what spring looks like. Some of them talking about the beautiful flowers that are already growing in their garden and in their area.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
And we were talking about how when I used to live in Southern California, this month, I loved this time of year going to Joshua Tree because that's the desert, right? But in the shadows of those stones, as we're scrambling around on these big rocks, in the shade is snow,
That is so bizarre to me. Like, I
right?
can't even fathom snow in the desert.
And that's just one of the beautiful things about this season, the balance of hot and cold, snow in the desert, the way that spring in the season shows up in your area. Take a few minutes and maybe you notice something new in the land and in the weather, even. What does it look like here? And how am I going to show up today as my witchy self?
To kind of kick off some of our ideas, I have some go-tos, obviously, that we're used to, and those are going to probably be the things that you're going to expect from me. But an incense, my first thing would be an incense, a daily incense. And I know a daily incense kind of sounds like a lot, but actually, if you are plucking from things that you have in your kitchen or in your little herb area. It can be something that just gives you that like moment of calmness, that moment of connectedness. Because for me, I don't know how it is for you, but certain scents can kind of take me to an alpha state or take me to a place mentally. Scent is a very powerful thing.
I have meditated with Nag Champa burning in the background so often that that's one of those scents that'll do it for me. Absolutely. And it's so prevalent at festivals and at shops. It's,
That it really puts you in a place.
yeah, exactly. Just I'm so used to it because of that habit. Yeah.
So you have some things that can help with the clarity of the chaos going on right now, such as rosemary, sage, bay leaves, lavender. These are things that at least I tend to have kind of on the regular around, even peppermint. Take some of these things and make it for each day. You know, maybe today you want to do rosemary and peppermint. Maybe tomorrow you want to do lavender and sage. Just do a little bit. You're not making pounds and pounds of this stuff. You're going to make just a little bit for, say, one charcoal use. Burn that during your time, your 5 minutes, your 15 minutes, or even if you want to burn it throughout the day. But pick something or pick a few things herb-wise that kind of give you that fortitude to ride that chaotic energy wave right now, ride into the new season, settle into the change that you knew was coming.
Now, this is something that Chelle and I are actually doing right now. This is a practice that we're doing, hopefully, right along with you guys if you pick this up as well. So, the beginning of it is really set aside a space, pick a space, clear that off, make that your intentional space. This is the space where you're going to do your witchy thing and try to pick a time. It doesn't have to be the exact same time, although that's nice, but a general time like morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the freaking night, whatever time works for you. Try to pick a same general time of day. Then, like Chelle said, make your incense, come up with an incense and layer these witchy things into it. So we're going to give you some ideas of different practices that you can put into this witchy time. And one of the ones that I want to start off with is a honey spell. And this is basically making an infused honey. And because it's something you have to turn every day, and a honey infusion is best in the sunlight because the warmth will help it to infuse better, nice and slow over time. So you can have this out at your witchy space. You can have a jar of this honey there, and you have to turn it every day. So pick a time of day, and you know that you're going to go to your witchy space and you're going to turn that honey. You might as well do some other witchy things while you're there. This honey spell is super simple. Get a clean quart jar, like a mason jar, or smaller. It doesn't have to be that big. But get a jar and you're going to fill it about half the way with herbs. Pick herbs that match your intention that you want for the season, right? We're going into Beltane. So maybe you want to pick Damiana and rose and lavender for love and romance and sensuality, right? Plus they'll taste good. So put those in there and then pour your honey until it completely covers all the herbs all the way to the top of the jar and seal it. And then once a day, you're going to turn it. And a little bit in the beginning, you're going to probably want to fill in more honey until it's full, but keep it full. And then just turn it once a day while you're sitting at your witchy space. And that can be part of your intention setting for this season between the spokes. It can be one of the spell things that you can do. And it's a good reminder because you have to turn it every day anyway. So it's a good reminder to sit down and take a minute at your witchy space. And then burn some of that incense Chelle just mentioned.
Yeah, every day you're infusing your magic. Not only are you infusing the herbs into it, but you are also infusing your magic into the honey. I love that.
Exactly. And then about 4 weeks, after 30 days, take the honey, strain out the herbs, and then just seal it and keep it in a cool, dry place. And you've got nice, magically infused honey. And you don't even need to throw away the herbs. You can take those and put those in your tea, and that's full of 30 days of your magical intention into that honey. Or that makes a beautiful offering to your land spirits or on your altar to deity or to ancestors. But that little bundle of herbs contains all that energy and goodness in it.
Yeah, and I'm all for kind of using every little bit as much as you can. So I really like the added bit of using the herbs even after you strain them out of the honey. So you're kind of getting like a twofer. You're getting your magically infused honey, and you're also using the magically infused herbs for whatever purpose suits you.
And I am known for being terrible with time. So something that reminds me that I have to do something every day is good. It's a good cue for me, a mundane cue to help me get into magical space.
Now, the next thing I have is, again, something very simple, something that's easy to want to do, to remember to do, easily able to be done each day. And that is crystals. Pick a crystal, sticking with kind of this time of year. You have different stones for different purposes, different intentions. But if we're sticking with kind of that clarity into the chaos theme, I was thinking things like green aventurine, fluorite, hematite, malachite, and you can either pick something at random or pick something with intention and just carry that with you for a day. Pick a different stone every day if you have the ability to do that, or pick one stone to carry and to work with for the 30-day period or however long it is. But during your 5 to 15 minute a day time, you can meditate with that stone. You can sit and have it in your work area, in your study area, in the area where you're doing, some of your magical workings. You can wear it. I don't know how many times I have had either something stuffed in a bra or have bought a specific piece of jewelry because of the stone.
There's nothing like a bra crystal.
Everybody has bra crystals. We're not going to lie here.
Yeah, but the fun part is at the end of the day when you forgot you have a bra crystal or five and you take that off and they clatter to the ground.
The other thing I've done too at places where I may not have had a bra on, different conversation, sock crystals, put it in my sock. I always generally even have ankle socks on and put a little stone in my sock. But yeah, so, carry it with you, meditate with it, have it in your space, work with that stone, even if you don't know, even if it's a river stone and you don't know what it is, but you're feeling called to it, just feel the energy of that stone, feel the essence of that stone, and work with that in a meditative way. Or, sometimes I feel like stones have something to say.
Yeah, maybe you need to walk with it and has a message with you for the day.
Yeah. So I think picking a stone is, picking a stone every day, working with crystals, working with stones is a good daily, quick, easy, can get into it each day kind of practice.
Now, something that we do every day and something that a lot of our listeners do every day is have some tea, or some of us have a little bit of wake and bake. So incorporate that into your witchy time. Incorporate, again, something you already do, but make it magical, make it much more witchy. And in this case, we're talking about taking your tea and making it a spring spell. You could even go so far as to collect some spring rainwater, either gentle spring rain if you want a calming tea spell, or more of a stormy tea spell. Tonight we're supposed to get thunderstorms, so I'm collecting some rainwater for that. So you might want that if you want more of that raging, powerful energy. Please make sure that you collect rainwater in a clean jar and avoid roof runoff. But take your collected rainwater or your tap water and make some tea. I call this the Stormy Heart tea spell. So get a little gentle rainwater and some rose, tulsi, and oat straw. And these herbs are to soothe a sad heart or soothe a heart that's a little bruised.
But what if I want soothing, calm rainwater and I'm getting nothing but stormy bullshit rainwater?
Then just use a little tap water.
Okay.
It's calm. Just make sure it runs slow. Have it dribble out of the tap instead of rush out of the tap. We're practical witches, man. We can make it work.
Seriously.
So the rose is to open and soften your heart, right, for a little self-love and self-soothing. Tulsi helps your body to handle stress without breaking. So it helps you to process that and move through stress. And oat straw is more like nerve soothing. And they all taste good together. So this one is when, you're grieving or when things are a little hard. Sometimes that happens in spring. So have a little magical tea. Make yourself a little tea for the day. Maybe it goes along with the incense Chelle mentioned, depending on if you're using drinkable herbs. You could also make a smokable spell. So I figured my smokable would be the opposite of the heart soothing. This one is to raise the heat in a relationship or to raise
Ooh.
desire in a relationship. So the base for this smokable is cannabis, or if you prefer to keep it
PG.
Yeah, there you go. Or you prefer to keep it non-psychoactive, you could use mullein as a base herb instead. And use Damiana for warm electric sensuality, rose for that open heart sensual love. And they both taste so good in a cannabis joint. So a little smokable spell to raise passion, raise love, and to bring that to you. So by layering these practices together in your space, in your magical space, and trying to do it over 30 days, maximize it. Have your stones right there. Have your herbs right there. Have your journal and your tarot cards and everything right there. So you can do all of these things in your 15-minute witch time.
Speaking of tarot, I have one final thing.
A little birdie told me you might have a tarot spread.
So, we're talking about that chaotic spring energy, that chaotic flow, good chaos. So, this spread is called Eye on the Prize. It's a 3 card spread, short and sweet. So, you have got in the center, your center card, which I have raised a little bit. If you were making a little pyramid, is how I have it spread out. So, my center card is the goal. That's what you're keeping your eye on the prize. Now, to the left of your goal is the blocks that you can control, and to the right of the goal is the blocks that you cannot control. But even though you can't control blocks, you can maneuver around them, you can work with them. Same with working with the chaotic energy. You just got to ride the wave. So it's giving you the things you can control, the things you can't control, and how to utilize them together, almost like a chariot to keep your eye on the prize, keep towards the goal.
I like that it's in a triangle shape, an arrow shape. It's balanced because a triangle is very stable, but it's also an arrow pointed towards the goal. I like that.
So, yeah, just real easy. 3 cards. I think that this is something during this time, maybe a good thing to do weekly. This would be a good thing to do, say, on a Sunday evening, or if there's a full moon that week, do it on the full moon and do that for a month. And each week, jot down, I hate to say tarot journal, but tarot journal your 4 spreads for the month and kind of see how those 4 spreads have evolved from the beginning of the month to the end of the month when you really are reaching more towards that Beltane time.
I love that. And I'm going to make the journaling easier on you, Chelle, because my thought for this, again, it's the idea for this is to maximize your 15 minutes and make it as witchy and as packed with magic as you possibly can to set your day up for a witchy magical day. So the journaling, do this spread once a week, do your daily tarot pulls in your 15 magical minutes. But when you do the journal, just jot down keywords. What are the first few words that come to your mind? Just jot
Right.
them down because we've only got 15 magical minutes. So you're not going to want to write a whole dissertation or
This doesn't
copy
have
the
to be
entire.
overload.
Exactly. So write down the keywords, and that should be your only journal thing. And maybe write some words for the day. Like, what's a goal word that you want for the day? Or what's a magical word to encapsulate what you would like to get out of that particular 24 hours? Or maybe just go super witchy and just let a channeled sigil or shape come through that'll be motivation for you for that day. And then after you've done that, last thing, your last minute of your 15 magical minutes is a 1-minute meditation to set you up for the day. Maybe it's that tarot spread that you meditate on, or maybe it's the tarot card or a rune that you pulled. Maybe it's a charm, or maybe it's the sigil you just drew in your journal. But take a moment and just do a 1-minute meditation. And we'll post a few of those, but just do a 1-minute meditation to set you up for success and to be your magical best witch for the day. And then you're done. You've done a whole bunch of witchy magical things to set you up for a perfect day, hopefully.
And it's been only 15 minutes, and now you can go and do all the other stuff you got to do.
It's true. I tried to say 5, and I know damn well I would never be able to do everything I want to do in 5 minutes.
That's why I immediately went to 15.
That's why I'm always late for everything. I'm like, oh yeah, that'll only take 5 minutes. And yeah, no, it's gonna
No.
take 15. So there you go. There's your 15 magical minutes for the day. And try to do that every day. Try to do something like that. Keep it simple. Just layer them all together. Set yourself up for success by having everything right there. Have a little space where you've got all your herbs. You've made your infused honey jar and it's right there ready for you to turn over. You've got tarot cards or your runes, your journal, everything's right in that witchy space. And you know you're just going to go over there, have your cup of tea with you, you're going to have your infused joint, and you're going to journal and do all your magical things. Everything that makes you feel the most witchy and magical. Wear your hat, wear a scarf, wear your best jewelry, wear your favorite magical perfume. Do all the things that make you feel super magical in that 15 minutes.
But even if you can only do one of those things, even if you can't layer it, maybe you can only pull 3 cards. Maybe you can only pick a crystal and meditate on it. Maybe you can only churn the honey over. If you can only do one thing, still do it. The layering is fantastic, but don't let that scare you either. If you have to start with one thing, make it 5 minutes and make it one thing. Just do it.
And don't be worried about doing it wrong or doing it messy. Or I did 15 things yesterday and I'm only able to turn my honey today. Or I'm only able to sip my tea today. That's okay.
Good enough.
Just do what you can, but try to be consistent and be gentle with yourself if you can't, and then just get back to it the next day. The idea is to build that practice, to find the magic in everyday things by setting aside a moment to literally see everything as magical, especially you.
All right, Layla, you're getting me to want to go do a couple of magic-y things. So I've got to go because now I've got to go be some witchy wonder witch. What is that?
Yes.
Maximus?
Witch maxing! I'm going to make
Witch
it. No.
maxing. Witch
No, I'm
maxing.
definitely not going to make it a thing. I can see my kids rolling their eyes at me already.
I'm not even telling my kid I heard the word.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Back on the Broomstick. Please like, subscribe, send us an email, give us a review, give us some stars. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you guys. You are awesome. Everyone who shows up here, all you brand new people, thank you so much for joining us. We adore having you here every week.
Happy spring, witches.
And
keep it witchy.